across, we have Jacques Shore, who's partner at Gowling WLG. Jacques, it's great having you. Let me first maybe start off with probably what is the most pertinent question. Your views with regard to gold and silver and the moves there, because we saw a pull back after the new Fed chair was nominated by the president, but now we're seeing a rebound. What do you make of this move, and any rationale that you may have for the kind of moves that we're seeing?
Look, I mean, I think these are very interesting times altogether. As I've just been, listening, the world is going through a significant change on many fronts, and there's no doubt that gold and silver will be very, I think, very, very much on the minds of many investors as we look at the volatility in the various markets, as we look at political issues that arise. And as was just noted, I mean, can we really rely on the agreements that take place between nations that focus very heavily on what their trade agreements should include? It's also remarkable to see, and here I am as someone from Canada, remarking what's happening internationally, how remarkable it is that India effectively is becoming the essential trade partner in a new global alignment. We are seeing India rapidly emerging as one of the world's most important trade and strategic hubs. And so, look, with all of that, of course, you look at gold and silver, but people want to basically know that they can have reliable partners. And this is why we've just come out of, what I saw last week as a celebration where the EU and significant spot where they actually have effectively among 2 billion people a trade agreement. There's still details obviously to be worked out. And then how remarkable yesterday, as we see, you've got your Prime Minister Modi, who I think has done a remarkable job in terms of lifting India and being able to demonstrate its value in the world in so many ways. And President Trump, who basically wants to use trade, I think, in certain ways that effectively, is an instrument in diplomacy, but an instrument also in dealing with the war in Ukraine by ensuring, by trying to get a commitment from India that no longer will purchases of Russian oil be made. And there are alternatives. So these are really interesting times, and we will look at the volatility continue. And so long as we're questioning what the value is of these, but at the end of the day, these are remarkable steps, and India is right there front and center. I'm going to say that my Prime Minister Carney, is very much looking forward to meeting with Prime Minister Modi. They met several times, but to meet with him in March and to talk about Canada and what it has to offer and what India has to offer in such a significant way in a meaningful trade relationship with Canada. So these are good days. And I think we can look at markets eventually being able to rely on the kind of trading blocks that we're seeing developing.
Jacques, if you look at the kind of moves which India is doing with respect to ensuring that we have enough energy security going forward, do you see a situation where Canada also comes into the entire relationship with respect to how on energy and energy with India, and while it's been stated that India may stop Russian crude, but the fact is that India would keep the energy interests open as long as it gets the cheapest crude or cheapest energy from anywhere in the world.
Great points you raise. Canada is a reliable partner. Canada shares the same values as India in so many ways, being part of the Commonwealth, G20 democracies, all of that. And so it would be in our interest to be reliable also in being able to demonstrate that we can provide the energies that are needed in India at a very important time. And that's essentially dealing with clean energy, LNG. I think we're well known for our nuclear energy capabilities as well. I think in the past we've had some good discussions on that. But our critical minerals are very, very important parts of that supply chain. And I think this really does align very well with India's industrial growth and our Canadian resources. There's no question we are looking for more markets right now. Prime Minister Carney was extremely direct and forceful, I think, in his remarks in Davos to basically say, we're living in a different time. We're looking at a different way of how countries deal with one another. And I think that's very much values based, which is another reason why, I mean, when we have basically close to 1.8 million Canadians that are of Indian origin, another reason why we should be working together and you should be looking to us for energy and other supply chain requirements.
Jacques, the debate always has been whether India can be the China plus one or not. Now with the trade deal sealed, you think more business would be done with India as a manufacturing play as opposed to looking at China for every answer?
Absolutely. I think that's what's so exciting right now. That's what we see. That's what the United States sees. I think it's a natural inclination to work with India as a democracy. I think that there are so many good reasons why we would want to do that, especially at a moment where, we are questioning how do we engage meaningfully with India. I've said this many times over. Every 5 years, we have to figure out how we figure in with China. Look, I hope that China will appreciate that again. I mean, obviously there are differences today of the China that we know and the China maybe of 15 or 20 years ago. But I do think that India is in that fantastic sweet spot at the moment where it can really, I think, take on a position on the world stage with other countries that know that it is a reliable partner, is a country that also you can rely on its judicial system, on the judiciary and the way in which you deal. You can basically say there's certainty in doing business. My firm has been engaged over many years in some of our international work in India, and we see the great value in that.
Right, Jacques, great to have you today on the show. Thank you so much for your time and insights.
My
the big
pleasure.
Story...
This is special for me, so thank you so much.